Residents of Protea North in Soweto have not had electricity for about 3 months now. They say when they approached Eskom for help, they were told that a transformer in their area was faulty. But the utility has washed its hands off responsibility, saying it's not going to fix the problem because only 30% of this community pays for the electricity. It adds its threshold for affecting repairs would be at least double that. Now, Theodor Mashele is taking a closer look. He's joining us now in the studio. He was on the ground a little bit earlier today. Theodor, welcome again to today. Thank you very much for joining us one more time. Now, the community, 3 months without electricity. Yeah. If this is August, it was in middle of winter, must have been very cold. I wonder how they told you they were coping.
Yeah, I mean, Braden, what I've noticed is that there's even a bit of a division between the community itself, because now there's these households that are told that they have not been paying the bill, and then there are these households that are saying, but we pay our bills. So some of them came out with their receipts in the streets and they were waving them around saying we are paying, but yet we are still affected. Earlier on, we even heard from an old granny there telling us that she also has been paying and her payments are up to date, but she is also affected in the same way. But we also spoke to a teacher from a school nearby that told us that he is concerned because the students there, it's a high school, and they were supposed to get started on their preliminary exams, but they don't even have access to some of the equipment in the school. This is what he had to say.
To say you are affected probably is understatement. It has been 3 months now without electricity. We are suffering. We are in high school here. So as we speak, we are preparing for the preliminary exam, the trial exam that is starting sometimes this week. So we don't know where to start. Number one, our learners are not well prepared. Remember that we are one of those smart schools. I would call it an e-learning school. We are being supported by the education electronically when it comes to the information. But the problem, we are unable to access the information. So we are unable to revise with the learners, with preparing them for exam. We are only depending to a generator that has been there for the last month. And that generator is not doing anything for us because it is only used by the admin. As I speak with you, like I'm teaching geography, for instance. With geography, you cannot teach without using the smart board. It's difficult. Our school has been changed totally. We're a smart school. We're not using the chalkboards. So we're depending to the smart board with everything. So if we have no electricity, it's becoming so difficult for us.
You know, we've heard, Theo, that there's a campaign by the city authorities to install prepaid meters. That just might solve the problem, but that's still a way to go. For now, what is Eskom doing about this problem in Protea North?
Well, we actually got to speak to Amanda, who is the spokesperson for the Gauteng, Eskom in Gauteng, and she told us that they have actually started going around the community, collecting, giving the people actually the forms to fill in order to arrange and make arrangements with the utility to make sure that they can at least pay bit by bit, since they can't really afford to pay whatever that they have defaulted. But she also did mention that later on they are looking at installing prepaid meters around that community, because that is the way to go, like you said, Braden. They do want to eliminate this idea of people just billing and having this long bill, but having someone to pay before they actually use or as they use. Yeah.
So what happens is that when a mini-sub fails or a transformer fails, we then have a process that we've implemented as the cluster, which is the province in Gauteng, whereby we would go and conduct audits just to determine what has caused that particular infrastructure, be it a mini-sub or a transformer, to fail. And in this case, we picked up that these customers have bypassed their meters and also are buying electricity from these ghost vendors, which is the reason why the mini-sub has failed. So we then started with the engagements to say that when infrastructure has failed, we have this DPA process, which is the deferred payment arrangements, where we fine the customers for illegally connecting themselves and bypassing their meters. And that is what we did with these particular customers. But they were not willing to sign the deferred payment arrangements, and it's only after a certain period that they agreed to enter into the deferred payment arrangement, and we require customers to reach a 60% threshold before we can then start to normalize the network and then also to commence with the ordering process. So it was only when they had reached and they had signed the deferred payment arrangements did we then start with the procurement process. So the delays are then because they took long to agree to sign the deferred payment arrangements and then for us to start with the procurement process for their failed minisub.
Okay, that's a spokesperson for Eskom in Gauteng on the ground in Protea North in Soweto, speaking earlier to Theodor Mashele. Now, still